Yo. Best seat on the bench. We're back again. Yes, it's been a huge delay in the fact that we were not streaming like we wanted to. Had some situations going on, work related, all kind of stuff like that. But guess what? It don't even matter at this point in time because we are back. Here, like I said, Coach Strong from First Coast High School, the college experience, Division I basketball player, but just a guy bringing the knowledge for the North Florida, Jacksonville area. Going to keep moving forward. Going to try to bring in my co-host as usual. Big Hen from Matanzas High School. That's my man. I want to bring Big Hen in. Big Hen, how you doing, brother?
Man, I'm hanging in there, man. Just taking it a day at a time.
Man, I feel you. I appreciate you being back on this thing. We'll keep it rolling. And then guess what? In this delay, I was able to recruit us a third member of our panel. Yeah, a very individual who's very close and near and dear to my heart. He actually carries my same last name. The interesting part of it is, as you'll see, he has the OC in his title. That was a nickname given to him in college by me and my roommate for out of control. Out of control. He was just that dude on the court. We talking about having a dog. He was a dog plus a dog and then another dog. So we just like, man, we're going to name this dude OC, and it's stuck. So bringing in the third person to the panel, my little brother, Sean OC Strong. Welcome, Sean. Talk to me. What's happening?
How you doing, everybody? I'm happy to be a part of the group. Definitely. OC out of control not only stand for being intense, my intensity on the basketball court defensively, but also putting up numbers as well. Also having the crowd out of control. So dropping buckets and bringing that aggression.
And don't forget the fact that your antics was out of control as well. But we're not going to go into that on this episode. We'll talk about that a little later. Hey, but listen, welcome everybody to the panel. We're going to start off a couple quick announcements, just kind of throwing some stuff in here from the North Florida area. Listen, want to say big ups to Coach Showers at Ribault High School, bringing the mighty running and gunning Trojans back to the top of the heap for the city. And they won this year's Gateway Tournament. Best team in Jacksonville city limits. So kudos to Coach Showers at Ribault High School. Also wanted to say, now that the season's over for high school boys basketball, getting ready to go into our district tournament, the top five teams in our area, and this is not just Jacksonville, but also Clay, St. John's, Baker, Nassau, and even up into South Georgia areas. All those teams were all included in this. And those teams were number 1, Providence, number 2, Ponte Vedra High School, which Ponte Vedra went to the state tournament last year. So they're looking to try to go back again. In FEI, and Stacy Poole, man, he's doing some very good things over there. They're trying to rock it out, and hopefully he'll make that push and go ahead and make it to the state tournament. Also, Episcopal High School, they did a great job coming in at 4th. And then number 5, Oak Leaf High School at number 5. And I'm going to vent just a little bit because guess who I have in the first round, first game of the district tournament? That would be number 5, Oak Leaf High School. Yes. But listen, and I want somebody to go check it out one day, just go look at it. My district is probably one of the best districts in the whole state of Florida. There are 5 teams from my district that's in the top 10 in that North Florida area that I got to go against this year. So, man, hey, listen, all I can say to those guys is y'all got me this year, but you're going to have to try to find me next year because my boy is coming. We ready to go. So, Hen, talk to me, man. How did you guys do this year and anything that you're looking forward to for next year?
Yeah, my son.
Yeah. Hey, so what kind of numbers Junior's putting up?
Well, they play late, but he been doing this thing like on the going to the All-American camps for middle school and all that. He just won the dunk contest at the McDavid All-American camp. He made the team. He probably averaged, and they're like 3 little camp games. He probably averaged about 20 points a game. So probably 9 to 10 rebounds, 4 or 5 blocks. So we looking for like all the Palm Coast is waiting. So that's gonna be big. But as far as our high school season goes, we did a lot better than we did last year. Right now, I think we're 9-16.
Okay.
The 16 losses, 9 of the losses were by single digits. So we it wasn't so much what the competition was doing, it's what we weren't doing to close out those games down the stretch. But like I said, my son to be there next year. Alex Davis, my 6'9", he'll be back. Tariq Shakir, my junior point guard, will be back, and we got a new transfer, Rasir Jefferson. They call him Rock. Like that boy tough. That boy gonna be something special. So we gonna make a lot of noise next.
Oh man, hey, fantastic, man, and that's what they brought you there, hands. So they knew they were gonna bring you there and get that winning tradition going on over at Matanzas. Now I ain't gonna talk about my team right now because I gotta make a few changes to be ready for next year. But we're gonna be able to rock and roll from there. But hey, the reason why we're here, best seat on the bench. Let's go to our topic area. One of the things that I have really noticed this year is just the violence that's starting to take place at the events. You know, we're talking about the basketball games, football games. It's starting to trickle into some other sports, soccer, flag footballs coming, girls flag footballs coming up. And then the crazy part about it is 50% of it is the players, but 50% of it is the spectators and the fans. So I'm going to shoot this one over to Lil Bruh, OC. Hey, give us an example of something what you think where you've noticed some violence in one of the athletic events.
Well, one event I'm going to specifically bring up on this topic, and I think it speaks a lot of volume, meaning status and money does not change the course of exactly what you guys are talking about as far as violence and how it relates to high school athletes and parents. LeBron James' son, Bronny James, somebody brought a gun in the event. They end up having to clear everybody out and so forth and so on. I don't know how close it got to the players itself, but there was an event where the gun was pulled and they had to clear out the players for the time being. Now, the reason why I bring that up on this topic is because we're talking about LeBron James' son. Certified billionaire, celebrity, has a lot of connections. So the excuse we don't have money for security. Our administration is trying to do as much as they possibly can. It's going into celebrity type events now. So I would think that it has to start from the source, in my opinion. Let's go ahead and start educating not only the kids, the players participating in the event, but also student section. I've seen different situations with that, where the student section is just so crazy, where that turns into a violent situation. So I think both high school and moving up, let's start educating not only the student section and everything else, but also even in NBA games, they give out announcements and things like that. I don't know if they're doing that at high school events. It's saying, okay, everybody, just start with anything little, to pass on that knowledge, to let them know that this is a game. Ultimately, it's just a game. Man founded the game with a peach basket and a ball, and it doesn't have to resort into death or any violent situation.
Right. No, I agree with you 100%, especially when you start talking about the fact that we're talking about a high-profile individual like Bronny. And if these type of situations are happening in an event like that, there's definitely a problem with the person that's organizing the scenarios here. And I'll talk about two situations I know of it, then I'll pass this on to Henry to talk about a little bit. But throughout the season, and I'm also the assistant athletic director at the high school I'm at. So there's some responsibilities that I have also other than just being a coach. Well, I'm not going to name the high schools or whatever, but there was a high school that there was an individual that brought a hatchet into the gym, right? And it's before we was doing wanding and security checks and everything at the door. And one of the patrons that was there notified the student resource officer and said, hey, this person has a hatchet. So, but when the officer went over to get the individual, he became a little belligerent or whatever, and he didn't do anything, thankfully. But just the fact that you got a hatchet in a basketball game, high school basketball game, and then the police trying to come get you out, and then you're just you got the nerve to get upset because they're trying to remove you. That's one situation, and then from there, the county that I'm in, that sent a ripple effect. So now we got to have metal detectors at the front. We got to have an administrator there to wand. We would normally have one person doing the ticket taking or whatever, but now we have to have two people there, one ticket taker and one wander. Well, guess what? That is money that's being now taken from the programs because I have to pay two people to be there. So the ripple effect is now it does affect us monetarily. That's one situation. Then, because you brought up a very valid point about the student groups. The students, they get together and they do a great job now of organizing and coming up with these themes of what they're going to do, so and so and so. Well, at this particular high school, they were doing their themes and they were picking fun and crying, laughing and joking, doing what they was doing at some of the players. Well, at the end of the game, most of those students were still standing outside. Well, guess what? The opposing team now has to walk down a particular sidewalk to get to their bus. And guess what? Well, as they were walking through, one of the kids said something. Well, guess what? These kids ain't playing basketball no more. They ain't on no basketball court. Not right. Now you disrespecting me. And then boom. And guess what? One basketball player start fighting. You got the whole team not going at it. So now you got So now you got a basketball team fighting the student population there, and then they had to get the police out and get it all broke up to get them on the bus and everything. So, but Hen, this is what I'm gonna do for you because you had the opportunity to get away from Duval County and go down to another county. And have you seen the level of violence that you have witnessed in Duval County, where you are now? And then talk to me about that.
No, I have not. County, nah, buddy. You get out of line there, you're getting escorted out, or you're going to jail. Like our officers down there, it ain't about being friends and all that. They gonna do their job. That's the one thing. So, like OC was saying, on the security side of things, you got to have people there that's gonna do their job. Meaning, when people are coming in the door, you gonna warn them like you supposed to warn them. You gonna check them like you supposed to check them. You gonna look. When they come on a facility, you subject to search. That's common knowledge. They gonna check those bags. See, what happens is when you don't have a good security doing their job, guess what? It leads to these problems. Now, something crazy can happen in any game. It's loopholes to everything. Somebody can always sneak something in, but when we're doing our due diligence, it makes it a lot harder for hatchets, guns, and stuff like that to get crept into the gym. And that's a big part of the security guy, like doing bodyguard work and knowing how this stuff works. It's like you gotta hire people that gonna do their job. You see what I'm saying? It's like us as coaches, we get paid to do what? A job. We gonna do our what we got doing the security side of things, we need them to do their job. Now, like I said in Duval County, because of situations, now you got schools that already don't make any money. So they got to find these extra coins to get out to pay that extra person. See what I'm saying? That's that side to it. That's the downside to it. But it comes back to we got to have the right people. So for me, like with us in Flagler County, is easy. Like you have the AD is going to be at the games and another administrator, and then we have the resource officers per se. We have to have police officers that's assigned to the school. See what I'm saying? Like you come to one of our games smelling like weed, guess what? You got to go. It, like they take it that serious. If like in Duval County, the fans get a little more leeway than they would in our county. The first time you stand up and say something crazy, they coming over to hey, we gonna need you to calm down because they know how things get. But and crazy though that I'm saying this, one reason why I take my kids to Jacksonville to play 3 and 4 times a year is so they can be in that environment. For if we make a playoff run and we got to go play like a Reebok, Miami Northwest or something like that, it's not the first time seeing that. Because where I'm at, my kids are privileged. I got a bunch of kids, they don't need basketball to go to college.
Right.
I got parents are doctors, lawyers, own businesses and stuff like that. So they spoiled, they privileged. So when they come to Jacksonville, I can take them to Mandarin and they'll say, "Oh, we in the hood." No, like this ain't Flagler Palm Coast, but it's definitely hood either. You see what I'm saying? But it's man, I'm from. So I love that environment. I love being around that, and I try to get my kids used to it. You know what I'm saying? But but you it's all about safety at the end of the day, and that's a part of it. Though. Like you got to have the right security in place. That's all it is.
And I tell you what, I'm gonna take 2 points from that, but I'm gonna throw one at OC. You can call him OC. I'm gonna throw one at him, and I'm gonna say, OC, where does race fall into that same situation?
Oh man. And more of a political standpoint, race would be considering because the facts would show that more mass shootings are more towards the Caucasian, Hispanic side, as far as coming in the game smelling like weed, gunfights at high schools. After sports events has been, mainly more on the African American side. Now, to piggyback off what Hen said, is that these people need to do their jobs. Number one is efficiency. Number two, it's got to be some type of accountability. I know personally that in more of a Caucasian, those type of high schools, those kids automatically know what they're dealing, what they is coming with. And just in my past experience. So that way, if they do bring a gun or a hatchet or so forth and so on into those type of events, they got reprimanded in a high level. And I went to Jackson High School, so coming to games and smelling like weed and stuff like that, that you probably see some of the security guards smelling like weed. That's just the way the way the river flowed, particularly. But to solve the issue on both white, black, whatever race event it is for people to do their jobs and to have accountability of their actions. By that kid bringing a hatchet in, if you just say, hey, you brought a hatchet in, don't do it again, and there's no accountability on what he did, he's going to try and continuously push that barrier to see what else he can bring. So whether race or not, having people being accountable and people doing their jobs, I think will settle both race in those events.
Okay, well, just jumping into about the race thing, here's my dilemma. The ratio of the race thing is the situation with the teen that got into the fight coming out of the high school with the fans, black school. The situation with the hatchet, black school. Then one of my other examples is, and I'm not going to name the school because these people here are very near and dear to my heart. There's a situation where they playing a basketball game and fans didn't like the call. And at the end of the game, one of the fans had went down into the tunnel and waited for the game to be over, confronted the official, and then punched him in his face. All right. So now he's going to get a battery charge for that. But the fact that this person actually has the gall to want to go back into the tunnel to wait for an official to actually get into a physical altercation with a black school. I'm in the middle of a game. We're going back and forth. As the game was happening and everything. We get down to the last 42 seconds, and I think we were down about 11, 12 points at that point in time. I see these three black girls walk across the court. Not around, but they walked across the court. Game's still going on. I'm looking at the clock. It's 42 seconds on the clock. They walked across the court. That's when my dean senses kicked in, and I looked at my team. Well, actually, I looked at the official first. I said, hey, man, these girls getting ready to go fight. He did nothing, looked all stupid or whatever. So I turned to my team. I say, when this thing jump off, y'all do not move. That way, y'all don't get blamed for this. And then now it's, hey, they're out there fighting so and so. So I said, nope. I said, y'all do not move. And I got my guys off the court. Sure enough, them girls went right up in the bleachers and then jumped on this other girl. And then it just went haywire from there. Well, black school. And then I get caught up in this situation where I started looking at my schedule and do I play the black schools and then run the risk of getting into those kind of physical altercations, having fans up in the stands that smell like weed, that come in packing a gun, this, that, and the other? Or do I take my schedule and I now pattern to make sure that my team and my coaching staff are safe, not only at my away games, but at my own home games? Because technically I'm almost the game manager at my home games. And I tell people all the time, It's not gonna happen on my watch. Ain't nothing stupid or crazy, and you're not gonna have me on the news.
Yeah.
So the rate say about that part
goes back to, like I said, we gotta have people doing their job. So the incident with the person going back in the tunnel and jumping on the referee, that doesn't happen at my school. And I'm not trying to say we the perfect example, but we have an officer standing right there. Wait, the referees all get walked to that. They come at the same time. Police escort to the parking lot, to their vehicles. Same thing for the opposing team. Police escort to their vehicle. And it's crazy we saying this, but during this time, this day, I gotta say, in Flagler County, we do it the right way. And honestly, it's supposed to be like that in Duval County. So what happens? Those guys will come to you and say, all right, coach, I'm gone. Hey man, the other team left, or the official
right.
You got to stay there until that time, and they don't do that, and that's part of the problem. Also, like you said, when them girls walked across the court, where was the resource officer or security person? For one, they said the minute they walk across that court, that's a red flag.
There it is.
If they would have walked around the court up into the bleachers, I can understand that it's stuff gonna happen. But they walked across the court. Nah,
across the court. Yeah.
Yeah.
Once they
right. So
it was supposed to.
I'll say this much. You base your decision off the other team's administration. It has to be some contractual accountability. Everybody knows Miami Jackson versus Miami Northwestern. I don't care if they're playing ping pong. Oh, yeah. The arena gonna be packed and it's gonna be crazy. Throughout the years, Jackson ain't been in the top, but Northwestern been winning state back to back. Teddy Bridgewater, all them, can off to the NFL. They've been a part of that, but they've been able. Now you can make those phone calls and say, if I'm putting you guys on the schedule and certain events happen, this is going to be the recourse. So the administration has to show as much accountability, like Big Ken say, as these students.
Yeah.
No, and I agree with you. And he can attest to this too. It's like he was just saying about the resource officers. Hey, when the game is over, they're looking at you like, all right, coach, I'm out of here. Well, your job ain't over. Your job is not over until the other team has been escorted to their bus. Referees have been escorted to their vehicles. That's how that should be, and that should be a policy that's put in place that no one deviates from. And that's where I say our disconnect is, in Duval County, is because, when I first got to Duval County, we had a really good relationship with JSO. Well, somehow in the last 9 years, the relationship between DCPS Police Department and JSO has been disconnected. JSO don't even want to come around, and now we're left with just the DCPS Police Department, and then now, like you said, their role and their responsibility seems to be somewhat skewed because they've been allowed to do certain things, and that becomes what the problem is. I agree with you 100%. If you come in smell like marijuana, if you come to the door smell like marijuana, you should not be let in. And I got a lot of flack for that because I'm the game day manager at our football games, at the high school games. And we got to the point where I let them guys, my student resource officers know, and our assistant officers were there. I said, listen, I need y'all to back me up, but no one smell like weed will come into the football stadium. And this year, we started locking it down. And after about the third game, they started getting the picture. And wasn't nobody coming in smelling like weed the way they were the last 2-3 years before I took over. So I'm with you here. It's just about consistency and making sure that the policies and the procedures are held up to the accountability. And then if they're not, then some heads need to roll. And I think that's where they're afraid to discipline those people who need to be disciplined. So I
got a question.
Sean,
I got a question for you two coaches. Do y'all want to sheep and wolves clothing, or do y'all want to raise your own wolves? So if y'all want them to go into a hostile environment, if you expect them to go in and win in a hostile environment, don't be afraid to put them in there. Because I know Reebok was a hostile environment, and the state championship or every district game is going to be a hostile environment. So to not put them on the schedule because of those certain things, it don't stop just at high school. as they continue to be athletes and get to this level and this level, the environment is going to be just as hostile.
Okay, well, again, take a minute, and I want you to answer that, and then I'll answer.
Oh, we coming. Whether I want one thing about me, we coming. Especially now that I got some, I'm gonna have some dogs on my roster. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, it's like you said earlier. When I set up certain games, I let them know, hey man, we from out of town. My parents ain't used to certain stuff. Hey, I need to know that y'all gonna be on top of y'all game that night. Especially now, because now when I come to Jackson and First Coast and Reebok and run, I'm trying to blow y'all out. So hey, if I blow you out, I know that resource officer gonna escort us to the bus and we can get up out of there.
Like Justin Bieber.
Okay, well, in my point of view, go ahead here. I'm sorry.
I'm in Northwest. Guess what? It ain't no well because of certain situations that happen. We got to go.
Well, and I agree with him. And like I said, being able to leave Duval and go to another county, have a different atmosphere, and then bring those kids into this atmosphere, that's fine and dandy. Because what he is he's bringing an outside group into those situations. Where my situation is, all these kids know each other. So there is beef and issues and stuff that I don't even know about, that I'm unaware of. So what I try to do is I try to keep my guys out of those particular situations because they can't control their own tempers. You know what I mean? So when I say a hostile environment, I take my guys, like you said, turn them into wolves. I can't turn them into wolves right here in Jacksonville. So that's where we go to Atlanta. We go to Miami. We go down to Daytona. And then we play against them hard-nosed guys. And that atmosphere going to give you the same results of making them into wolves, but it's difficult to do it right here in Jacksonville because, number one, the gang activity in Jacksonville is starting to rise, but it's only rising in certain sides of towns. So I have to be more selective because my kids are connected in ways that I'm unsure of. So I can't take them to those certain atmospheres, and because I have no control of how it's going to blow up, and that's always my thing because once it blows up. Now you got to start counting the negatives.
Right.
Once the fight happens, okay, so that kid's ejected. Well, if it goes into my bench, those guys, anybody lead a bench, now ejection. Then if somebody come out the stands and doing something, now I got to go protection mode, and now we're almost in a situation where now the police gonna be involved. So that's the domino effect that I can't deal with as far as in Jacksonville itself. I take my guys out of town, and we're gonna find that atmosphere.
Yeah. Well, just to piggyback on what you said, I agree 100%. Your job, you're obligated to make sure your players are safe at all times, from the parents, you being the father yourself, so forth and so on. I'm not telling you to tell them to put themselves in blood and jump in a shark-infested water. That's a soldier right there. No, I'm not saying that, but your obligation is to safety of your players. So if that is a variable that you have to consider, go someplace else.
Hey, absolutely, man. Listen, and welcome back, episode 1 of the new year, 2023 year. And I think my panel is going to be locked in. I think we got a really good group, and this thing going to keep pushing forward. Look forward to us on our next episode for episode 2 of the 2023. We're going to talk about the HBCU apologizing for offering Marcus Stokes that scholarship when he possibly used the N-word on a tweet or was a rap or something like that. But we'll dive into that. We'll talk about that. But so once again,
the A or the ER.
Hey, well, it was the A. They stay on that A now. They like that A. That's what they boys say. But hey, once again, best seat on the bench. What time of man, Coach Hen and OC in the house. We're gonna keep rolling.
Talk about it.
See you.
All right.